It just makes you wonder those things. I have heard wise men suggest that Satan himself knows well what is written in Scripture, in the Bible, in the good news gospel. Obviously, then, knowing truth doesn't necessarily make us adherents to the truth. In a lost state of defiance, we may seek the power we have in rebellion to the truth. It's every man's prerogative to utilize their free will choice. Equally obvious is the fact that those willing to sacrifice God-given false fail-safes, like conscience and integrity, honor and soul, for success, in order to continue ruling over humanity, are temporarily at a huge advantage. No barriers to being evil, to do whatever it takes to rule, murder, etc. Do as thou wilt. Yeah, I mean, the good, decent, upright among us are at a huge disadvantage to the evildoers because, well, they have the power to be evil. Okay, because they don't value conscience, so they can do whatever they want. To stab you in the back, deceive you. They don't believe they have to answer to anybody. That they choose not to believe it. So they're deceiving themselves, deluded, they're lying to themselves. And hell awaits them, but they figure they'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. And I just don't want to be around those people indefinitely. And I don't have to be. According to Scripture, I don't have to be. According to the promises of God, if your heart is pure, good, decent, righteous person, you ready yourself for the world of tomorrow where God's will is in full actualization, full realization, well, you'll get it. A high burden, aka cost of living, puts a nation at a global trading disadvantage. It is literally explainable to a little child. Understanding a bare modicum of monetary relativity, one can readily see the problem of trading with a nation whereby $10 a day may afford you a middle-class life, whereby you need $300 a day to live that same life in your country. It decimates our manufacturing base. A high cost of living is an onerous, burdensome, stealthy, and effective means of theft, of stealing the wealth of a nation. Of course, a nation is the people of the nation. In God's plan for us, He gave us our sexual drive as a means to fulfill His desire for us to go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. As such, God supplied very pleasant drugs into our bloodstream, drugs which are accentuated during sexual mating activity. God has very powerful ways to get the job done, and instinctively we are made to very much want to go along with that plan and fulfill His commandments. Those whom advertently or inadvertently mock freedom by mocking the precept, the basis, in striving toward an ever-growing lower cost to exist, euphemistically referred to as the cost of living, with the eventual goal being a 0% cost of living tax, are going to lose the battle for absolute universal freedom on earth. Yeah, the decent, upright people among us are going to win this fight, my friends. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No equivocation about it. In regard to permanently ending desperate poverty and the horrendous circumstances thereof, if this were made a partisan issue, we could discover which party was obstructing solving this 21st century wholly unnecessary crime against humanity. Yeah, it'd be really easy if it was that simple to just say, hey, it's all the Democrats' fault or it's all the Republicans' fault for causing this problem. No, it's political, but in the sense that it involves the collusion of both political parties which is fascist, when they collude and conspire against the best interests of the people at large. Okay, this is a crime against humanity. It's a crime against the American people. And it's a crime against God. And it's got to cease. They've got to cease and desist here, my friends. Listen, I'm going to end this video now. And I'm all caught up in my thoughts. And I love everyone. I care about everybody. I want the best for everybody. And yes, I'm speaking to my own enemies. I mean, look, I'm just like every other man out there. And although I call myself a pacifist, I'll admit that. That doesn't mean that if I catch a guy in the act of molesting a child or raping a woman, that I'm not going to break his neck. I mean, I'm just human. I'm just a guy. But still, you know, you're my enemy, and I'll love you. I mean, if you are able to be captured and you get due process, then, you know, we'll show the compassion that warrants that such compassion. But remember this, you know, hurting a child, you'd be better off to be thrown to the depths of the sea with a millstone tied around your neck. Just remember that. And to hurt a woman, to force yourself upon a woman is not okay. You can't. There's certain things you just can't do. I mean, to me, it's far more reprehensible to hurt a human being, an innocent child, woman, than to steal wealth. So, I mean, if you want to try to steal, that's fine. But harming other people in the process is not fine. Okay? I mean, I watch these crime shows and it just blows my mind what people are willing to do for a few bucks of life insurance money. I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach. And yes, when it comes to getting married, I think these prenuptial agreements, this should be the norm. The norm. That would solve a lot of problems. I would end a lot of strife, and I would settle it. It's done. You don't marry me if you want me for my stuff, if you want me for my income. What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. Keep it like that. And if the married couple want to share, fine. But a lot of guys have a big problem. They've got pride. They don't want a sugar mama. They're embarrassed or humiliated. They find that repellent, the idea of taking money from a woman. Okay? So it's going to be very hard for any woman out there that wants to share what she's got with a guy. Okay? So, yeah, a prenup should be the norm, because there's a lot there is men that would take advantage of that because they're evil men in the world. But it's a lot more acceptable. We understand, well, she wants a sugar daddy because, you know, women, they're the nesters and they want that financial security. Very understand. God understands why we want financial security. It's not a mystery. But then this whole life insurance thing. I mean, could you imagine murdering for life insurance? I mean, this is sick, man. We are a sick species. That this has to be an issue. People killing their beloveds, man, for money. I mean, does it get worse than that? Maybe these wars that are just conjured up, these dubious wars where innocent women and children are being murdered, maimed, and killed in these wars. I mean, does it get worse than that? I don't know, man. But, you know, we're a messed up species. We need God's help. I have no doubts about that. Okay, we need God. Invite him in, man, and he'll come in. So, my friends, best everybody. There's no shortage of best because we're all individuals. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And someday, God's will is going to be established on earth. And then we're going to have peace and harmony, safety, security, and all those good things we all want. So until next time, have a nice weekend.